Dun, 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 dun. That's right. It's time for the New York Jets State of the Union. Oh, this year I won't be doing it alone. I'll be doing it with my co-host Nick Shine, the proud New York Jets fan, when we come back. So stay tuned.
And now, welcome to Pride and Chaos.
Welcome to the darkest year of our adventures. Oh, yeah!
And now, give it up for Jeremy and Nick.
Now you scared me.
And as usual, Nick is wrong.
Why are you the way that you are? God, I can't stand you.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Whoa, that was cool.
Screw that, Nick. Rather than have you just be here, I'm going to give you a good old-fashioned introduction because we won the last game of the season. It's the beginning of the offseason, so let's get you in here the right way. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is not only a man, he's an awesome father. He is. He's got a son and a daughter. And he helped make. That's right, he helped make it. Now, that probably wasn't his intention at the time. At the moment, he was thinking of something way different. That's beside the point. The father is a man. He's a Jets fan. Ladies and gentlemen, the meatball hero with French fries eating, the chicken and entire pig cooking at the tailgate MetLife partying, the one and only, the big man with 9 toes, not 8. He's held on to all but one. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest co-host in the world, Nick Shine!
Thank you, sir. That was totally awesome. Thank you. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Talk. You're good at that.
Hit the music. Let's say hello to some people. We got Harlan Abraham was okay. He said, okay, we're here. Wild Wave, what's going on, my brother? New York Jets superfan in the house, what's going on? Harry W. is here. Tony Alexio, welcoming all to the Chaos Package. We got Kuka Lake Jets fan.
What's up, everybody?
In the house. New York Flight Jets Talk in the house. Ready to go, ready to debate, ready to argue, ready to scream, ready to cry. Let me tell you something.
How do you not say ready to rumble in the month of the Royal Rumble? We just talked about this the other day, you putz.
Let's get ready to rumble. Okay,
No. Buffer will come in. That's a lawsuit, bro.
Yeah.
That's copyright. We're about to get shut down. We owe him $1 million.
I love.
We need a few super chats, everybody. We owe Michael Buffer $1 million for that. So please send super chats.
Is he one of those kind of guys?
Turn your volume up or turn your mic volume up.
Is my mic volume down?
It sounds it. Like you're usually much louder coming out of my computer.
Let's see something here. Testing.
Yeah, better.
Okay. Get this mic up in my face or something.
Anything that blocks your face, I'm in favor of, and I'm sure the chat is too. Chat, give me a thumbs up if you want to see Jeremy's face blocked.
Nobody wants to look at my face. Nobody wants none of that. Okay. So
Yeah, see, Chuka said it. Chuka said it. The exact same thing. Turn the volume up and turn the camera off. Nice. Very good. He's making fun of you, which only
All right.
means one thing. There is an hour and 54.5 minutes of him just firing toe jokes out at me now. He will hit me 20-1 now that he got you with one.
Is my volume up now? Is my volume up? Am I good?
It's better. It's better. I don't know how it's coming across on YouTube, but in here it was low.
Okay. As long as it's up now, let me know, because New York Jets Superfan said it was low pretty recently. Let me know if it's better. If it's not, I'll turn it to the computer volume. So here's the thing, okay? Nick, I'm going to tell you something that's going on. I've gotten into a couple of arguments on Twitter.
You?
Oh, yeah.
You argued?
I told somebody that they must have had like a bad father or something. Because he got me so.
Were you talking to my son?
No.
Okay.
So anyway, here's the thing. And Knobcraft's not here yet, is he? Good. All right. The negativity, I understand. If people want to be negative about the season that had just passed, it was a crappy year. I mean, and I kind of knew it game one. When Aaron Rodgers went down, a part of me knew. My heart, it was like a knife went through me. There was this hope that we can make the playoffs anyway. There was all these, but a knife went through me because I knew that we just lost a year. When AVT went down, Dwayne Brown was horrible, and he went down. And AVT, when the offensive line started to fall, I knew. I said, "Here we go again." But here's the thing: when people go on and say we're not close, we are so far away, we stink. JD needs to be fired. This stinks. And in reference to next year, that pisses me off. When people pretend that we didn't start 14 different offensive lines and that doesn't matter, and that wouldn't impact any team, that pisses me off. When someone tells me when your starting quarterback goes down, and we knew we didn't have a competent backup, that might have been a mistake on JD. That was last year, though. Be mad at him for that for last year. That has nothing to do with the year that's coming up. In the year that's coming up, we have Aaron Rodgers, whose worst season is better than any quarterback we've ever had. Sons, maybe a couple of years from Ken O'Brien, one from Joe Namath, and one from Chad Bennington. Okay, so and Vinny Testaverde, like that, their best years are his worst year. Okay, we got the best running back in football in the NFL. I'll say it proudly and I'll say it confidently. We got a true number one receiver. We got some good tight ends. We're fine there. And we have some money and some draft capital to address the offensive line. And I don't have to say anything about the defense because anybody who knows about football knows where we stand on defense.
Number one rated defense by PFF too this year.
We are not in bad shape. Do we have needs that we have to fill in the offseason? Yes. Are things horrible right now? No. We are in a position. Someone said, how could you watch this team be so bad and think that a quarterback is going to change it? Well, it's not just a quarterback that's going to change it. First of all, quarterback's a pretty huge deal when you're going from terrible to somebody who a Hall of Famer who knows what they're doing. But let's be real here. It's the offensive line. And before we even add a player, let's just talk about health, just being healthy. If we can get them to stay healthy. And I know that's an if, but that's an if for every team. I also want to say this. I want to talk more about it. I'm sick and tired of hearing how Cleveland survived the injuries and they still made the playoffs. Nobody talks about Jacksonville. Trevor gets banged up a little. Suddenly, Jacksonville's out of the playoffs. Right?
How about
happened
Philly?
to that?
Philly went 1-5
Right.
once they beat Buffalo. Hurts left the game in Buffalo, came back. They won in overtime. Then they went 1-5 the rest of the way because he's hurt.
Right. Where's Cincinnati? Their backup quarterback was competent, and they're not in the playoffs.
Are you trying to tell me that you just can't plug in any magical backup and your team doesn't miss a beat? Because that theory has to get blown the fuck up. We should have just got this guy. Oh, yeah, everyone has a Jeff Hostetler. Everyone has a Nick Foles. Those are the fucking anomaly. Those are the rarity. Those don't happen every year. Everybody thinks that, it happens somewhere else. It has to happen here. Get the fuck. And that's all New York sports, man. That's not just the Jets. It happened there. Why can't we do it? We should have been able to do it. Joe D sucked. Brian Cashman sucked. Omar Minaya, whoever the Met GM is nowadays, I don't know. Everyone sucks. Shit happens. We could have had this will be the Jets' fascination with this offseason, the Jet fan fascination. I will not stop fucking hearing about a backup quarterback as if it is the most important thing in the world. If we had Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Joe Montana in their prime, we still weren't doing shit behind 14 offensive lines.
Right.
That's the issue. Right. We don't need to get 7 offensive linemen. We just need healthy line.
Right.
We need healthy linemen.
Healthy is more important than even adding more. And then don't get me wrong. I'm on first in line and adding more help to the offensive line. But it starts with health. You guys got to stay healthy. 100%. You got to have the same line every week. Now, if you look at some of our best games that we played in the season, and I remember you talking about it as the season went on, it was the games where it was our offensive line's second or third game together, where we didn't have to make any changes, where guys, there was a part of the season where our guys actually stayed healthy for a few weeks, and that was our best run. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence.
That was AVT at right tackle, Tippmann at right guard, McGovern at center, Tomlinson and Becton.
Yeah. There was a moment there where we had it together, and we were okay. Now, to sit there and say, oh, but Jeremy, look how bad it was. It was historically bad. How can we be close? Well, I mean, we had a guy named Newman, I don't even know these guys. We had guys
Chris Hansen. We had Chris Hansen of the Dateline NBC. But we saw him play, and Jets fans all said, oh, why don't you have a seat?
They weren't even rosterable. And then guys who were horrible backups, Turner and Wes, who weren't even good, were getting hurt. We couldn't even rely on them. I mean, give me a break. It's not that hard to imagine it being different. Imagine an offensive line the way it was before all those injuries. Imagine just a healthy group of guys that play together every week. Not all stars, but just an average offensive line that's respectable.
Consistency,
and then imagine
cohesion.
Right, and then and not missing assignments. Guys who were practicing every week and not missing the assignments, which I have evidence of on the film. And then imagine a quarterback that can actually throw go routes. So when Garrett Wilson has a step and his NFL open going deep towards the end zone, imagine having a quarterback that can throw it in stride zone. And think, when you look at quarterbacks who throw for 30 to 35 touchdowns a year, look how many of them are plays like that. That's something other football teams are able to do. Throw a deep pass once in a while. Break the other defenses break on certain plays all the time. We were never able to get touchdowns that way because we have not had a quarterback who could see it, identify it, and in a timely manner get the ball out in stride to the receiver to take advantage of it. We simply have not had it. Aaron Rodgers ends all of that.
So Jets fans, the majority of them, not our chat, because you are all outstanding human beings and citizens and use logic all the time, every time. When you look at Rodgers going down, we were still winning games. We were 4-3, right? No one had us at 4-3 with that gauntlet. People had us less than 4-3 by the end of October with Rodgers healthy. We were 4-3 still. But then after Brown, then it was AVT, then it was McGovern, then it was Schweitzer, then it was Mitchell, then Turner was bad, then Warren came back, and then Newman came in, and Glazer came in, and I mean, I think Kuka had it up. Hansen, Glazer, Newman sounds like a freaking law firm in the middle of Oklahoma that like you don't want to use. But those were offensive line guys. So the domino effect of negativity happened this year. Rodgers goes down. Lazard then sucks. The offensive line injuries. Now, what does that mean? All right. Let's just not look. Let's look at the substance, right? Everyone knows the headlines. Let's look at the substance. The opposition saw that they weren't opening it up for Wilson, for Zach. So what does that mean now? Everybody starts coming up closer to the line. There's more bodies in the box. That's what she said. They're unable to find holes to get through. Also what she said. Totally unintentional too, by the way. So the run game wasn't going. We have one elite wide receiver at beating man coverage. And there were times where we couldn't get him the ball, whether it be Zach afraid to throw a pick, which we went through that. It could have been coverage. It could have been Jalen Ramsey was on him the one game in Miami. There were situations where we couldn't get him the ball, and nobody else could get open. Now, there were also times where guys were open, and Zach was afraid to pull the trigger. You're not going to have that with Rodgers. He's going to know where to go with the ball, okay? But we know what Rodgers can do. We don't need, or we need a first-round offensive lineman. We need the top offensive lineman in free agency. We need, you know what we need, which is more important than anything? We need the same 5 fucking guys that start week 1 to start week 20 in the Super Bowl. Look at the Buffalo Bills. They got to the last game of the season before Dawkins went out and got his hand taped up and missed like a quarter. That was the first time all year that those 5 didn't play together. Coincidence they got better, the run game got better as the season went on? No. If we identify 5 starters and they play together, and we're not on line 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different fucking lineups, we're going to be good.
I mean, we beat Buffalo with Zach Wilson. I mean, we had A-Rod for 4 plays. So with an average offensive line that was just okay, because it was before the injuries, and Dwayne Brown playing horrible, so we were worse than okay, and Zach Wilson playing. With that, we still beat Buffalo. Miami couldn't do that, right? I mean, Miami doesn't even, I mean, they lost. No, I'm not saying they didn't have injuries, but they didn't come close. You can't even talk about Miami's injuries compared to our injuries. And they were humiliated by Baltimore. They're not even in the same level. Miami's probably one and done. They're probably going to, second year in a row. They're going to go into Kansas City. They're most likely going to lose. They can't beat a team that's over 500. They're a mile away. Buffalo, we beat with freaking Zach 2 years in a row. We've split with them and in horrible shape. Imagine we have a healthier offensive line and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's no team that's scary in this division. There simply isn't. I mean, Miami has a scary offense, but they're like the old San Diego Chargers. They can't do anything with it because they're just not a complete team. And Buffalo, for whatever reason, we have their number. We're ready to beat them. We just need A-Rod to be in there. So do I think now there's a difference between being a Super Bowl contender and saying you're going to win the Super Bowl. There's a lot of other great teams. Baltimore's a great team. They are freaking great. They're awesome right now. And there's always going to be other great teams. So it's never like, oh, yeah, this is easy. We're going to win the Super Bowl. It's about being a contender. It's about being a contender. Can we be a contender? Can we be one of the teams that has a chance to rise at the end of the year? Well, if you give me an offensive line and you give Aaron Rodgers another receiver with Garrett Wilson, with our tight ends, with the best running back in the NFL, why and our number and a top-notch defense, why wouldn't we be one of the teams that might rise near the end of the year and be a contender? I thought Miami was one of those teams. If you asked me week 12, I had Miami making it to the Super Bowl. But they didn't rise. They went the wrong direction. Same thing with the Eagles. That's what happens. Certain teams rise. We just want to be one of the teams that could potentially rise. And we have an opportunity to do that right now. Can you imagine if it's not? I think it's bullshit. I don't think it's going to happen. But can you imagine, as much as it might cost and hurt the future after this, as painful as it might be to make it happen, if, though, it happens and Devontae Adams was a New York Jet, can you freaking think about what that means? Can you imagine Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Conklin at tight end and Jeremy Ruckert at tight end? Can you, with Aaron Rodgers, if we give them any kind of offensive line with this defense, what football person doesn't say on paper, that's a potential Super Bowl contender if they gel?
You're right. Now, to address the offensive line,
okay.
One of the theories is that since we've had the worst quarterback play in the league the last 2 years, there's more defenders in the box, and that's why guys are getting injured. There's more people there than 5 men on the line can handle. So that's something to look forward to. Bringing Rodgers in puts less people in the box, opens up holes for the run game. It's a positive domino effect, right, Jack? Something we haven't had.
Right.
Elite quarterback, less guys in the box, more passing attack downfield, opens up the run game. All good things. Gives us leads, allows the defense to get after the quarterback more. There's only good things that can happen next year. If you are already bitching, complaining, and writing next season off, then you're just a fuckface. Like, you're just a negative fuckface. There's no other way to say it. Sorry. If you're already complaining about something that hasn't happened yet in life, that's just your mental state, and you're fucked up. That's on you. Don't go project that shit out in the world, and we shouldn't give it air, But there's people like that, and they're toxic, and you don't want to be around them because everything's bad. This day is going to suck. This is going to suck. That's going to suck. Why do you talk? Not you. I'm just saying. Well, also fit for you too. Why do you talk?
Every success story had doubters. Every success story had people saying things along the way. And it's all real. Every success story when you're first building it has had their doubters. And it goes in every realm, not just sports. Stephen Jobs of Apple, right? So people laughed at him and doubted him. I mean, like, you could go to every success story, every company, every leader that's ever made it, and they were doubted their whole lives. I'm trying to think. The guy who played for the Eagles, the walk-on, they made fun of him. He was a joke.
Vince Papai.
Right, Vince Papai. Who's the coach? The amazing
Dick Vermeil.
Right,
He's always crying.
All right, but the thing about Vermeil is, what were the Eagle fans treating him like the first year?
Like they treat everybody.
Right. Right. What I'm saying is everybody has those, like, gets doubted. Everybody gets scoffed at. Until you actually win, everybody has to deal with that. So, yes, right now we have reasons to complain about Joe Douglas. Right now we have reasons to complain about Saleh. We have reasons to be concerned about them. I'm first in line in that. Check my library of videos and you'll see. There's no question about that. But the reality is when the Lombardi Trophy gets hoisted in the air, no matter who is the one hoisting it, there were bumps along the way. There were doubters along the way. There were unhappy people along the way. There are still Miami fans. I saw it on Twitter all week saying this bum has got to go about Tua. Can you believe that?
There's fans that want their coach fired if they lose in the first round with this collapse.
Right.
It's not a collapse. It's just you're a mid-team smacking the shit out of bad teams. The teams that they have great matchups with, they annihilate them. And it made people believe that they're better than they are. And when they played good teams, they weren't able to do what they're great at. And they didn't have the backup with it. They don't have the big physical receiver that they can go to. If you're bracketing coverage, or you look at the Kansas City game, which I expect to see this again on Saturday, you're going to see Darrelle Revis type of coverage. Not the level, but I'm up in your face. I'm going to bump you right away. We're going to have a guy behind us in case you get through that. And we're going to fuck up your timing, because timing's everything in this game. If you can disrupt the rhythm of the passer, whether it's with a pass rush, whether it's confusing him with coverage, whether it's a cornerback disrupting the timing with bump and run, whatever it is, it's all about disrupting timing. Guys want to be able to drop back, stand in a clean pocket, release the ball in rhythm. When you don't have chemistry, cohesion, continuity on the offensive line, that's done. When you don't have a quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers who can read, react, release on time, you're not going to flow. We lost so many things besides a player when he went down.
But you know what's interesting though about Miami? Like when we're talking about this and having this discussion, what I'm saying about having your doubters and their fans are saying get rid of Tua because of the one game or whatever it is, right? If Miami has this offseason solidifies their offensive line, let's say they do an amazing job. Center of the draft, they draft the right guards, they solidify everything. They come out, their offensive line stays healthy, their cornerbacks come back and they're able to cover people. and Tua keeps, whatever. And let's say Miami crosses the threshold. Let's say, I know that you don't want it to happen. I know that it would make a lot of people sick. A lot of Jet fans would hate it and want to kill themselves. But let's say Miami went all the way to the Super Bowl. My point is, it didn't happen without people along the way doubting them. So apply that to the Jets as a Jet fan. No matter what team makes it, they had their doubters. They had people doubt them. Sure. So when Kansas City let go and traded away Alex Smith and put in Mahomes, who nobody knew, like it wasn't proven, there were people screaming for blood. They were so mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were people laughing at the Kansas City Chiefs. So what I'm saying is, if the Jets were to solidify the offensive line, if Aaron Rodgers comes back strong and we get another weapon and the defense shows up and suddenly we push to the AFC Championship game and we're for real, if that was to happen, it would be totally normal that we could say. It would be the perfect movie, right? You have all the doubters, you have the Modines laughing at everybody, and then you have the success.
Do you notice a coincidence with the 2-1
But Modine
seed?
is right, by the way. Modine is right in his comments.
Do you know the thing that the 2-1 seeds have in common, Baltimore and San Francisco?
Well, one thing is
they've
overall
primarily been healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
Yes, Baltimore's lost running backs, but running back is the most easily replaceable position in all of football.
Well, especially on a team that
because of the fact that as long as you have your line, you have your scheme, you can plug in running back after running back, and Denver did it for years. Baltimore does it for years. When you're a run-first team, you can change the guy with the ball, but everything else around them stays the same. Here's a trivia question. How many games in a row did the San Francisco 49ers lose once Deebo Samuel went out? The answer is 3. Now, you look at Deebo Samuel, and I am a firm believer that Deebo is the catalyst in that offense. Brandon Ayuk isn't good enough to be a 1. He opens up everything because you have to worry about Deebo in the pass. You have to worry about him in the run. You have to worry about him with the yak. Oh, Boogie down. Thank you, brother. I will stop my comment to get yours up here. Thank you for the super chat. Our offensive injuries and deficiencies could have been helped with good coaching. But what this season is exposed, not just an inept offense, inept head coach. I'm going to disagree and respectfully disagree. Thank you again for the super chat. I'll take this first, Jerry, if you don't mind. Okay. When was the last time that we won 7 games in a row, 2 seasons in a row? We won 14 games the last 2 years with the worst quarterback play and over 20 different offensive linemen being used. Number 1 defense at PFF this year. It came out today. We're number 1 ranked defense in PFF, 32nd ranked offense. How do you blame that on the coach? We were 5-2 and 4-3 the last 2 seasons with this coach until we got past injury number 3 with the offensive line. Now you're getting to guys who are borderline practice squads, no matter what team you look at. When you get past your 8th lineman that you're using, now you're looking at a borderline roster guy who some weeks doesn't dress and is not a guarantee. You're not afraid of losing him if you put him on the practice squad. We need health up front, and you're going to see a major, major difference with this team. I fully, fully believe that, Boogie. I really, really do. And I can't put it on the coaching because we identified quarterback as a problem. We went out and got one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Sadly, he got hurt. I mean, if it anything, the positive out of this year, because I'm always going to take a positive out of everything, Jer, we identified our weaknesses. We need another weapon. We need another elite weapon in the passing game. We need 2 other starting linemen, maybe a 3rd, depending on what you decide to do with Tomlinson for contract purposes. But you know what Breece Hall can do. You know what Ruckert can do. Ruckert's going to be your number 2 tight end. He's going to be a great blocker. He's going to be an elite blocker and then develop more in the passing game. Conklin, 60-something catch. What do you have, 62 catches? With the worst quarterback play in football. He went up from last year. Garrett Wilson went up in catches from last year. Again, with the worst quarterback play in football. Guys, we're going to be okay. I can't say we have an inept head coach. I can't agree with that part, but I do thank you again for the super chat. I can't get on board with that.
Okay, let me address this.
Yeah.
Boogie down, Bronx. What's going on? I'm looking forward to going to the Bronx when I'm in New York. Got some recommendations of a restaurant I got to go to.
There it is.
An avenue, MacArthur Avenue, that I have to visit, where I have to film a lot of the bakeries and restaurants and all that stuff and eat all the good pizza. But that being pushing all that aside, I think that Joe Douglas, not Saleh, is more responsible for some mistakes. It doesn't mean I don't like him as a GM because he made some mistakes, because he's also built this roster and set us up and put us in a position where we're really close to being really good, better than we've been in a long time. But he should have had a better quarterback coming into the season, a better backup veteran quarterback. Should have had that. Zach was never supposed to play. And I think there was an opportunity to have better offensive linemen. I think that, like for one, like people made that we could have had Fant back even. I mean, there's just things we could have done that would have had us a little bit more prepared. I don't think it's tremendous mistakes. I think his biggest mistake was quarterback. I have a lot of problems with Saleh right now, but more concerns than I do. I know he's bad, I know he's good. I know he's a great defensive coordinator. I know that the players really respect and like him. There's a lot of good things that about him that are fine. I know that I'd like him to be a little bit more involved during the football games when things are going bad. I'd like him to be a little bit more on the bench talking to the players and doing that kind of stuff. I believe in that. But those are concerns. I'm not convinced that he can't be the guy that can do this. And here's why. And I think Nick already said it. At the end of the day, he has not had a competent quarterback. And when he has, anytime we've had competent quarterback play, we've been very good. When our offensive line managed to protect, because maybe it was because we were going against the weaker defense, but the point is, when we played Houston, we looked really good because our offensive line was able to we were able to handle their defensive line, give our quarterback time, and look what happened. When Mike White was playing well, we looked like a real offense. We looked good for a while. When Zach Wilson had good games, we looked good. When our offensive line was able to hold it together and allow our quarterback combined was able to then be competent, we were fine. When you look at all of our losses and how bad the offense was, it's because we had no blocking and the quarterback couldn't do anything.
Sure.
So
everything in this league is matchups, right? Sometimes you got good matchups week to week. So look at Mekhi Becton. Some weeks he looks amazing, like the Patriot game. Why?
So here's what I'm going to say about Saleh. Okay, I want to see what he can do if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy for a year. I want to see what Robert Saleh could do with a real quarterback, because Bill Belichick's record without Tom Brady is not that great either.
Yeah, but everything on the field is about matchups. Look at Mekhi Becton in the New England game. We ran the ball 40 times. There was no Matthew Judon who's terrorized him. That's a game where you want Becton on your team. We're going to run the ball 40 times. They don't have an elite pass rusher. The speed rushers were negated because of the weather. That's a game Becton excels in. You play that game in New Jersey in September, Becton did not look good going against Matthew Judon. So matchups, individual and team, matter. They're difference makers.
So let me
there's
answer
so many different things. Go ahead. What's up?
I'm going to answer this one question right away. I'm not saying Saleh is as good as Tomlin. I'm not saying I even know that Saleh is a great coach yet or a good coach. I need to see him with a quarterback. This is a good point about Tomlin, but Tomlin isn't a Hall of Fame coach, in my opinion. So you're saying, but the greatest coach, one of the greatest coaches, a Hall of Fame coach, that's what you're pulling out. If that's what you're pulling out to argue that Saleh might be an okay coach if he has a real quarterback, that's kind of a weak argument, because you're having to pick a Hall of Fame coach. That's what you're having to do. You're having to pick a Hall of Fame coach to make your point. And guess what Tomlin didn't have? He didn't have 14 different starting offensive lines.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
so it's different.
you know what Tomlin does have the benefit of?
What?
They never changed the
Continuity.
coaching staff. They never changed the
Continuity.
general manager in terms of ideology and what we're looking for. They run the same 3-4 for 60 fucking years. They don't have their fans saying fire everyone. And if they do, they're not changing over the schematics of the team. It's very, I don't want to say it's easy. It's more in coach's favor when you're not changing schemes and you can keep bringing in your pipeline of players time and time again. That's why I don't want to fire Saleh and Joe Douglas, because I don't want to bring in somebody else who changes everything around. It would be detrimental to this team. It would be shooting ourselves in the toe.
And I
There
know,
you go.
I know
That's
Joe
for you.
Camp, and I know Joe Campione agrees with that because he said it a million times. Stop firing coaches. Stop starting over again. Get continuity. You need continuity. But Boogie Down, love you, bro. Thanks for the super chat. And hey, man, we're gonna find out if Saleh doesn't deliver next year, he's gone, and then we'll be right. And if he delivers, then he delivers, and we could all be happy.
Yeah.
One cool thing I know about fans like Boogie Down is that even when I'm mad at Saleh, when he's mad at Saleh, we never stop rooting for them.
No.
Like in other words, there are fans that you almost think root against our guys to prove they're right. And
Yeah.
then there are fans that, yeah, we'll be angry at someone. We'll think that maybe they're not good. We'll have concerns about them. But when they succeed, we're happy to be wrong about those concerns, right? We're happy to say, I was wrong. He's great.
Yeah.
That's what a real fan does.
Yeah. Listen, we cannot like the results. No one likes losing. No one likes losing more games than you win. No one likes missing the playoffs. But you got to remember, we don't have guys on this team who've been here for 10 years besides Thomas Hennessy. We don't have that pipeline because we've changed over, because Joe Douglas had to strip the team down to nothing, because Mike McCagnon and Tannenbaum and Idzik bombed so bad in drafts. We didn't have that pipeline of drafting a 4th-round guy, letting him sit behind a starter, and then saying, okay, you want big money? All right, we've had this guy sitting behind you for 2 years. He's ready to step in. You know, like you look at Alabama, Georgia. There's guys that they bring in. They know they're not going to play the first year. You were an All-American in high school. You're not playing freshman year because there's a guy going in the first round at your position. You're the next guy in line. When you look at Baltimore, when you look at San Francisco, when you look at Pittsburgh, who hasn't had a losing season in forever, the continuity is important. The fact that they know the type of player that they want year in and year out helps the scouting department. They're not getting new agendas every other January. They're not firing the whole department. It's constant pipeline in the front office, in the scouting department, along with the sideline. I really believe Saleh is a good coach. But as you saw with Bill Belichick, as you mentioned, and I hate when you make a good point, but I'm going to quote you. You see what Belichick is without Brady. The guy who gets the praise for being the greatest coach of all time, the guy who's won 6 Super Bowls, gone to 9, I think, or 10 as a head coach, right? He lost 3.
Yeah.
So they won 6. He went to 9. He's been a defensive coordinator. What?
2 is a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. But what are you doing now? You ran your team into the ground because you couldn't find any talent on offense. When you have an elite quarterback, it masks a lot of those deficiencies that Boogie brought up. You're able to hide your flaws with an elite quarterback. You're able to do this strange thing that we don't know about, exploit the opposition. That's what Rodgers would have done. I think everybody's like, not everybody, but a lot of Jets fans are poo-pooing on the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. I really do. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people next year who watch the game and have some, oh, shit, he still got it? Oh, wow, I can't believe he made that throw. How did he read that? How did he know that was coming? How did he check out of that? We're going to see a level of play that we've never seen for our squad.
Yeah, there are people that are poo-pooing on Aaron Rodgers, and I have no idea why. I mean, with a broken finger and rookie wide receivers, he still had a year that would have been as good as when did we have? He still would have had a year that would have been amazing for a Jet quarterback. I'm telling you, he's done nothing to make anybody or give anybody reason to doubt that he's not going to be at the very least, a good quarterback. And nothing is going to take away the experience, the knowledge, the ability to read defenses. He has that. He's going to audible us out of bad situations. He's going to put us in better situations. I'm telling you, it's like everybody's got to relax about him. All we should be concerned about is obviously we need to give Garrett Wilson help on the other side. We need another weapon, someone that could scare people. And it doesn't have to be a wide receiver. If we take Bowers, job done. We just need another weapon that's going to create headaches for the defense as far as receiving goes. So they can't put all their focus on Garrett Wilson in the passing game. Now, if the offensive line, obviously there's a couple, we're going to have to address it. We're going to have to get some decent players in there. If they just stay healthy, we can't control that. We can only hope. If they stay healthy, if we have a couple of backups that are very competent, that's why I think we should go all out. Bring McGovern back as depth. No matter what, 1.9 million or whatever, bring McGovern back. So if something happens,
I think you can wait on that. That doesn't have to be
no,
urgent.
but these are
you can wait to see how the draft falls.
Yeah, sure.
That's a OTA, right, for May. Like, hey, after Monday after the draft, come on, you're coming back.
Right, but tell him not to sign anywhere else without telling us. But like he knows our system so well. He knows this team, the staff. I mean,
he's serviceable. He's serviceable.
As a backup, of course.
Yeah.
As a backup. I mean, we just need to have guys that if people go down, it's not fucking Newman. It can't be Newman. If it's McGovern because somebody got hurt and he comes into the game, we don't have to sit there and say we're fucked. We don't have to say that because he's serviceable. He's okay. He's not going to totally screw us. There's a lot of film. There's a lot of plays. You can see it. We had it was some great stuff on Twitter, some great content out there that showed you these guys did not know our blocking schemes.
They had to get in so fast.
They were doing zone. They did, and one person, Newman, didn't know and literally left his assignment, and that's why the guy got through. It's fixable things, but you need to have consistency. You need to have the guys that know the system.
Yeah.
So many of our worst plays offensively, where we said this is ridiculous, they're going right through us. It wasn't because our players were physically being outplayed, not capable, and just wimps. It was because they were missing assignments. Now, I'm with Green Bean. One of the adjustments I think that should have been made is when you go down to that level where you're starting new offensive lines and you have guys that don't know anything and haven't been around, you got to go to the easiest system for them. You got to dumb it down and just say, guys, play power man. Just fucking block the person in front of you. Like, I honestly believe that. I don't think you go outside zone with all these different assignments based on the play with guys that have not had time to practice and work together as a unit. So that's the one thing I'll say that I think where the coaching staff has failed is that they don't make those kind of adjustments where I think they should. And you know a little bit more about that than me. You've coached, Nick. I mean, I don't know if you agree with that or not.
It's a lot of moving parts to just pinpoint yes or no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
NFL coaching is a lot different than coaching at Pop Warner level. But
yeah,
if it's simple, it comes down to this in the NFL. It's any level of football. And I said this from when Nick played his first year in pads. If we don't block, we don't run. If we don't block, we don't pass. If we don't block, we don't score. If we don't block, we don't win. And that goes for Nick, who was the quarterback too. He was the lead blocker on our reverse. Our reverse was unbeatable. He would toss it to the running back. We'd hit our stud wide receiver, who was another running back, with the reverse, and Nick would be the lead blocker. And our quarterback would be out leading the way. And we scored more than half the time that we ran that play. We ran it twice a game. and then we'd be up so much we had to pull the reins off. But everyone has to block. Everyone has to block. You see teams who do well. I watched the New York Jets history. I forget the exact name. I'll check it on my phone. It's a Twitter account. And today's 25 years from the day that the Jets beat the Jaguars on January 10th, 1999 in the AFC divisional game. And they posted the opening drive, and Howard Cross was doing the game. And he said, word for word, when you look at this New York Jet team, you look at the receivers, Krabet and Johnson, these guys block everybody. They block cornerbacks, safeties, linebackers, D linemen. I love watching these guys block. I'm kind of summarized, but that was what he said. They ran a toss to Martin. Everyone blocked. Keyshawn cracked the D lineman, and Martin took it back for about a 12, 13-yard gain. And they showed Keyshawn Johnson, a wide receiver, block. Everyone has to block in order to be successful, especially nowadays where your D linemen are just as fast as wide receivers. You have to block these guys. You got to block. Your linebackers of your big, methodical, I can only cover my side of the field linebacker are over. You got guys like Quincy Williams who can dart sideline to sideline from the opposite side of the field. So you need everyone blocking. And everyone says you got to fix the line, fix the line, fix the line. How about find linemen who can stay healthy? If you're a starting caliber lineman in the NFL, you're a starting caliber lineman in the NFL. Just be healthy. That's the task. Find me linemen who can survive a season. Find me linemen who can play week to week. Find me a fucking DeBrickashaw Ferguson who misses one snap in a decade and it was on a stupid trick play with a stupid head coach. Find me that. I don't care if it's a first-round pick at number 10. I don't care if it's a fourth-round pick like a Jason Fabini. Find me a guy who is durable.
The problem is we bring in guys that have proven to be durable, like Aaron Rodgers, and it doesn't matter.
Like negativity is not helping right now.
No. I'm saying that's
horrible way to follow me up there. I had momentum. Damn you.
No, I'm just saying that unfortunately has been a challenge. Like we brought Clark in at safety, right? We traded the 7th rounder, got him for nothing. Guys
couldn't even make OTAs, right?
Never been hurt. Never been hurt. Right, and he was hurt in OTAs, right? I mean, the guy literally was like over 120 tackles. Didn't miss a game, didn't miss a snap, and then he misses the entire season.
I was feeling so good about that, man. I felt like that was a positive energy I was putting out there. And you're like, but wait, there's more. He's just busted you off of what I said.
What? Oh, okay.
Following me up. Here I am, like, here we go. We got momentum going up. Jeremy's like, wait, I'm going to cut the brakes on Nick's car.
No, I'm just acknowledging how hard it is. Like, I feel like, and I don't want to be superstitious or sound weird about it, but I mean, it just feels like there's some curse on this team that is very real. Like, it's just, I mean, over my years of watching this team, it seems like that dark cloud always finds us. You know, the whole Ken O'Brien, man, was going to be so special. Then he tears a rotator. Back then, they couldn't fix it. He was never the same quarterback. Then
he got the shit beat out of him because we couldn't keep him upright.
No, that's true, too. But then Vinny Testaverde, man, goes down untouched in a year that we're supposed to compete for the Super Bowl. Right, and then when it happened to A-Rod,
and then we don't go to Ray Lucas early enough. We went with Rick Meyer for 4 games and we got snubbed. And then they go to Ray Lucas, a special teamer, and he goes 6-2 down the end, beating Favre, Marino twice, and Aikman. Who had that on their 1999 playbook? Yeah. Bingo card, whatever the expression is.
Well, I know somebody who knew Lucas, Ray Lucas, and it may have been Victor. I don't know. There was some player that was telling my friend. My friend knew one of the Jets that said so and so said that Lucas and Terrence Mathis are the best guys on our team, and they're in practice squad or whatever, and they're clearly the best guys. And then we never did anything about it. And like Mathis went on to be an amazing receiver in Atlanta, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And
We
Lucas
played him a little bit.
for a while.
Boogie down. Thank you again, man. What do you guys consider a successful season next year without making a Super Bowl? I believe we have to make it to the championship game for success. I would consider a successful season the same starters week 1 and week 18 without anybody missing a game. Give me health first, right? Health is the first thing with this team. Let's have a healthy season and let's see where we can go from there. I fully believe, and listen, we know when that's not going to be a fully healthy season, but you look at this year, only 5 teams in the AFC have the same quarterback week 1 and week 18. And you see, most of them are in the playoffs.
It's always it's always a difficult question to answer.
It is.
Right? Because
it's easy to just say Super Bowl or bust. For a team who hasn't made the playoffs, can we get a home playoff game? Can we win a division?
What if we win the division and then in the divisional game play Baltimore? Right? And let's say Baltimore was 14-3, they win the Super Bowl this year or make the Super Bowl. And we play them to the very end. The divisional round game. Like we win a wild card game, we play them in Baltimore, we play them to the last seconds. And they scrape away with a win. It breaks our heart, but we played great to the end. It was no same old Jets. It was just a great game that they won. It's hard to say that.
And you tip your hat. If you get beat at your best, it sucks. It's a hard pill to swallow, but that's part of competition, right, Jack? Sometimes you just have to go, hey, you beat us. Congratulations.
It's not easy.
I'll give you my checklist. Be healthy, win the division, get a home playoff game, and see what happens. Just get in the tournament and have a chance. I think that we're capable of winning the division with Rodgers. And if we don't win it all next year, I'm not here. Here's my thing. This year coming up is almost like an extreme building block year. You got to get 2 linemen to come in. You got to let them develop and progress throughout the season. You got to get another weapon next to Garrett. And then in 2025, if we don't win in 2024, that's your all-in everything. You make the playoffs, you lose a tough game on the road, it goes down to the wire. Tucker kicks a 62-yard field goal as time expires. It's going to suck, but now we're close. We can compete on a serious level. You go all in 2025 and you do whatever it takes to get over the hump. That's the goal. Get in the tournament, see how you compete against the best. If it doesn't come together, then you go all in 2025 and you make any crazy move that you have to, and who gives a shit what happens after that? You have to go all in after that.
Right. And I will say this. If we make the playoffs, but we make it by going 10-7 or whatever, and we lose one and done in the playoffs, then I will not consider that a success. I will not say it's a total failure. How could it be? Because we'll have broken the playoff drought, but it won't be what I would define as success. I wouldn't use the word success. To me, I want to win a playoff game. I want to go to the divisional round and be incredibly competitive and possibly win, like have that chance to win. If we win, if we make it to the AFC Championship game, now don't get me wrong. I want to win desperately, and my heart will be broken if we don't.
Yeah.
But if we make it to the championship game and we lose a close game, if we're competitive and we lose in the AFC Championship game, my heart will be broken, but I will know that it was a successful year overall. Like overall, I'd say I have to be happy with the jump and the leap that our team took. Knowing that we go into 2025 with Rodgers coming back, all the guys now have playoff experience. We still have the team pretty much put together. I would be excited for year 2 for our next attempt. And that year, for 25, if that happened, that would be the year that I would say Super Bowl or not successful. Like, because I would know that's our shot. And I've waited over 40 years, and I need it to fucking happen. So to me, the only thing that would be acceptable in 25, if that happened in 24, is a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. Boogie, thank you again for the super chat. And everyone else, I mean, you guys know, There's a lot of you in the chat. There's a lot of discussion going on. If you ever want to cut the line, get your question or comment guaranteed up on screen and discussed, super chat is a great way to do it, and support the channel and Jeremy and his McDonald's addiction. Where's your 3 McDoubles, dude? We had a production meeting Sunday night, and the production, because I'm gonna call you out. I know it's your channel, but I'm gonna call you out. For all of those of you who were watching from the minute we drafted Will McDonald, there was a bald, chaotic one who made promises. And the promises were, I'm going to eat a McDouble every time Will McDonald gets a sack. And where the fuck are you looking? Do you have McDoubles stored around the office? Like you're looking like in a desk drawer for like an old McDouble.
No,
Oh, the dog came in. I thought you were looking around like, I think I dropped a McDouble around here somewhere. If you remember, this man promised to eat a McDouble for every sack Will got, and he did not. He owes us 3 McDoubles on air.
I'll tell you what. I'll do it at the next time you do a Friday hangout. I will do it. All
right. Friday night, 8 to 10.
Friday night hangout.
I got to be up early Saturday, so maybe 8 to 11 at the most, but Nick will be here. We got to go.
Down understands. This way it's a Boogie Down understands. He gets it. Why do I want to do it on a Friday, Boogie? Why do I want to eat my 3 McDoubles on a Friday? What can I do on a Friday night that'll help me out if I have to eat 3 McDoubles?
Oh. I got you.
Boogie Down knows. He's
Mark's got a question. My buddy Mark.
Okay.
What's up, pal? Our buddy Mark. Would you rather trade draft capital for Devontae or just sign T. Higgins for only cash? I'm torn. Okay. You want to go or you want me to?
I'll let you go. I know you are passionate about the subject.
The trade would be easier because if Devontae says to the Raiders, oh, thank you, Albert. Thank you very much, buddy. A super sticker. Albert Jimenez with a $20 super sticker.
Oh,
thank you, pal. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. You got a comment? You got a question? You got anything you want us to discuss? Can we just treat you like Bill Belichick? Can we put the dog in the chair and you walk away?
Dude, $20 super sticker.
Thank you.
I owe Albert a reach around.
Yeah, it'll get super sticky for sure real quick. But you see what he'll do for the channel, folks. If you want one of those moments, feel free.
Shut up.
He goes, spend the money. We have too many holes. Yeah, thank you, Albert. That was very kind of you.
Thank you, man.
Like I said, if you got a question, throw a question in the chat. We'll keep an eye out for it, and we'll get it up there. Thank you, buddy. Here's my thought with this question.
Mm-hmm.
If Devontae goes to the Raiders and say, hey, listen,
Eminem.
I tried. We came here. It didn't work. I think, I'd like to get traded to New York. There's no bidding war. There's no we submit a contract, they submit a contract. There's no worry about, the deal that you're getting. And Rodgers will kick money down the road. Quincy, I sent a text to somebody, and it said, if you go to over the cap and you look at 2024 and you click the drop-down tab for restructure, we can save $37 million from Quinnen, Mosley, JFM, and Reed restructuring. We have $15 million open right now before any other cuts, whether it's a Tomlinson, a CJ Uzoma, whatever the case may be. You can go make a move. You can go get a starting offensive lineman. You can go get a Curtis Samuel at wide receiver. And then you can do whatever you got to do. With round 1 and 3, get me a weapon and another lineman that can come in and start. And I think you've completely upgraded your offense. And you didn't break the bank doing it. If you go out for T. Higgins, Kansas City has a major needed wide receiver with the top guy. Rice looks like a nice piece, but you put T. Higgins, Rice, and Kelsey, who's falling off. You got to worry about a better situation, a better long-term situation with a quarterback. There's a lot of concern if you get into a bidding war. Then you don't get your guy. Higgins waits it out a couple days, and then Calvin Ridley goes somewhere, and then another guy goes somewhere. Boyd goes somewhere, and now you're getting guys who aren't on that level. So you got to be careful, right? You got to attack this cautiously. Me personally, I think Devontae, with that chemistry with Rodgers, it doesn't have to be developed, would be amazing to get with Garrett, because we saw what they were doing together in camp. That's me. Go ahead. You answer. I got to use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
I think that look, I'm not a guy who likes to trade away the future. I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt us, and I think that a Devontae trade, there are people living in fairyland that think we're going to get him for $10 million a year and this and that. He's old and he wants to come. It's bullshit. Right? I mean, even if we get him in a restructured contract, a new contract, it's going to be minimum 3-year, 60-year deal, 24 guaranteed, $20 million a year minimum. Now, if somehow, and I don't know why the Raiders would trade him because they want to get rid of the contract. I don't know. If some magical way they were willing to trade him without us having to give up our first pick or our first round pick, then, I mean, it's hard to, I mean, obviously I'd be ecstatic, right? I mean, if somehow you told me, even if it crushes our future after 2025, even if we're screwed, if you tell me that we're going to have 2 seasons, 2 opportunities where Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback and Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams are the wide receivers, Conklin, Ruckert are the tight ends, and we're still able to address the offensive line to some level to just make them average. So we have a functional, serviceable offensive line with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, Conklin and Jeremy Ruckert, right? And Breece Hall as our running back. If you tell me that we're going to have 2 years of that with our defense still where it is, there's no way that I'm not super happy and excited. Part of me, because I'm a Jew and I'm nervous and I'm going to worry about the future and what happens later, and I'm going to be nervous. But there's no way I'm not going to be thinking, holy shit, we could really do this. Because if you put Devontae Adams on this team with Garrett Wilson and give me any kind of offensive line, I believe, honestly, it will be the best opportunity we have had to win a Super Bowl, maybe ever. I will consider us a genuine Super Bowl contender, like with a real solid chance of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If that happened. So I have to say, if they could make Devontae Adams play for us, I don't fully believe it, but if they can make it happen and still keep the rest of this team together, oh yes, where do I sign?
Here's something that one of my Boogie, thank you again, man. MetLife
Don't
has
forget
been a
about New York Jets fan 4 has a question for you after.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw this pop in first, and you super chats cut the line, man. I see it. I was about to hit it. That's what she said. Yeah, it has. It's been a little nuts there. I see your question, Jet Fan 4. Thank you. I'll get to it 1 second. I just want to add this. Something that one of my buddies who's been a longtime Packer fan told me. He goes, you don't have enough weapons because Devontae Adams is better than Garrett, even though Garrett looks like he's going to be very good. The problem in every playoff game the Packers have been eliminated from is that Rodgers hasn't had other elite weapons. He tried to force the ball to Devontae in some games. I think the snow game with the 49ers, right? 49ers knocked them out in the snow game. He was trying to force it to Devontae. He's tried to force it to Jordy Nelson in the past. If you get a Wilson and an Adams, there's no forcing it. One of those guys are going to be open every play. You can't double both. If you double both, whoever's the slot guy is going to feast. So, or the tight ends, or Breece Hall out of the backfield. You could just run deep and dump it off to Breece, and he'll dog your linebacker. You have to have options. This is why I'm such a big proponent of getting an elite weapon. I pray to God Rome Odunze falls to 10. Because if you have Garrett, you have Rome, you have Conklin, you got Breece, now you're cooking with gas. Who are you going to stop? We'll go somewhere else. So you got to get options, because in the playoffs, when defensive coordinators are hot and the good defensive coordinators figure out a way to take away your strength, you got to have multiple strengths to fall back on. You got to keep the pipeline going. You can't just say, we have Garrett Wilson. That's enough. No, Lazard and Gibson are not a good enough 2 and 3 in the NFL for a team who has serious title contention. Would you trade back to 15 to 17 to get a 2024 second and a 2025 third? Yes. Yes. You give me a second and we go back 5 spots? Yes, 100%. Because, for argument's sake, Odunze, Neighbors, and Harrison Jr. go in the top 10. Okay. Fashanu and Alt are gone. Okay. I move back 5 spots. I'm still in a position to get Mims or Latham. And I can get Mims to tackle from Georgia, or J.C. Latham, or Fuaga from Washington or Oregon State.
He'd be
fine. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
He'd be fine.
You can get one of those guys. You can get another weapon. You could get a Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. Yes, the Brian Thomas that we had number 99 and 58 on the Jets years ago.
J.J. McCarthy, baby.
No, I can't. No, I cannot. I don't even want to get into that. I hope that Harbaugh goes to Vegas and he takes JJ there with him, so we don't even have to ever talk about JJ McCarthy. I'm not a fan.
Stupid.
But yeah, Jets fan 4, I would. Now,
Stupid.
if Fashanu's there, if Alt or Dunze are there, I have a tougher time swallowing a trade down, because I think those guys are guys that would be a blessing to fall to 10. That's me. That's where I'm at today. So, yeah, in theory, yes, but I got to see who's there on the clock. I can't pass on Odunze, Fashanu, or Alt if one of those guys are there, or even Bowers, because Bowers is not a tight end. It's not like we're drafting Kyle Brady. It's not like we're drafting Anthony Becht. We're drafting an elite weapon that is a mismatch and will keep defensive coordinators awake, and that's how you fucking win. You win with matchups and exploiting them. Look at what Dalton Kincaid's doing now. He's the number 2 guy with Diggs. That's what Garrett and Bowers would be. And I know I'm making a great point when he just goes into sarcastic wise-ass character mode and makes faces.
Look, this is an ideal situation. New York Jets fan 4 just asked the dream scenario for me. The dream scenario is
can we manifest it?
My dream scenario is they're up to pick 8 or 9, and we hear the dun dun dun, and we see New York Jets make trade down to 16, 17, pick up pick number 51. And a 3rd round pick in 2025. I'm fucking through the roof if that happens. And the only thing that would put me more through the roof, more happier than that, is Jets pick, trade back to 17, pick up pick number 51, and pick, 100 too. Like a late 3rd, early 4th round, like even that, and we get another pick this year to help out this year. I'm through the freaking roof if that happens.
I would do it, just to clarify, Jet Fan 4, and to you, I would do it without the 2025 3. I would go from 10 to 15 with this year's 2, no problem. Because now you're getting a tackle, a wide receiver, and an interior lineman in the first 3 rounds. And then you still have 2 4s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for that. There's great tackle depth. There's great wide receiver depth in this draft. Those are our 2 biggest needs. I'm all about getting a 2. Yeah. I could see the Jets taking a 3 and a 4 and moving up into the 2 if a guy they really love falls and we don't trade back originally.
And remember,
I think this is a great year to need a wide receiver and an offensive tackle, and we need both.
And remember, what usually happens is free agency changes our mentality a little bit. Like things happen in free agency that change our focus of,
Yeah.
and our priorities a little bit based on what
The
happened.
picture gets clearer, right?
Yeah,
It becomes more obvious.
Right. If Devontae Adams was to become a Jet before the draft, suddenly, we'll take another wide receiver in the 4th round, but we're not worried about the first 2 to 3 picks, first 1 or 2 picks being a wide receiver if Adams comes to town, So it changes the priority. I mean, if we were to get T. Higgins or Devontae Adams, then there's no question that the first pick goes to offensive line. Like there's no longer a doubt. No argument can be made. We know that's what's going to happen, right? I mean, they'd be crazy not to.
Yeah. Joe Grana, thanks for joining. Says Bowers is a weapon, not just a tight end. Tyler Guyton, big Tyler Guyton guy. Sleeper tackle around 2 or 3. How about this scenario? All right. You want to talk about a dream scenario? I'm going to present you with this. We trade for Devontae. We only give up a 3 this year, and then we give up another pick next year. Whatever it is. It can escalate based on how far we go. I don't care. How about this scenario? We lose a 3. So now we have our 1, and we don't pick again until the 2 4s. We get that trade scenario to go back to 15. Say somebody wants to jump the Raiders or Vikings and Penix or JJ or Bo Nix, and they want to come up and get that quarterback before everyone else does. We trade back to 15 or 17. And now we still have our number 1, but we add a 2 and potentially another pick with it. So you gave up Devontae for a 3, and then now we end up with a 1 and a 2 and losing the 3. That's a dream scenario. Because now you can get a tackle in round 1. You can get an interior lineman in round 2. You can get a speedy slot guy in 4. You can attack this off. Here's what I would do. With Rodgers committing for 2 years, I would attack safety, defensive line, in free agency. Get Jefferson to stay another year. Re-sign Huff. And then I would go, if we trade for Devontae, I'm using my assets in the draft to build an offense that can be one of the best in football from November on and then in 2025. And I'm giving myself 2 years to make this elite. How about if you trade for Devontae, you keep your 1, and you add Bowers. And you have Bowers, Devontae, Garrett, Breece Hall, Ruckert, and Conklin. Holy shit. Imagine that. Joe, I didn't even see your comment. My hand to God. I did not even see your comment. We're on the same page, Joe. Yeah. You want to have weapons? You want to be able to sustain a guy getting an injury and missing a week or 2? You go get Bowers, you go trade for Devontae, and you tell Jets fans we're all in. And it's a 2-year all in.
It would be absolutely berserk.
Now
you're getting to levels where we're like the great teams, like of the past that have ridiculous. I mean, if you had Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, and freaking Bowers and Breece Hall, are you freaking kidding me? I feel sorry for defenses.
I'll make a promise right now. I will make a promise right here.
Aaron Rodgers has never had anything like that.
Yeah.
Never.
Not many have, if we get that. Not many have. I will make a promise right now here on January 10th. And unlike my co-host who promised to eat a McDouble every time, never did, if we trade for Devontae and we draft Bowers, I will go with Mark Riss. We will go up to MetLife Stadium. I will strip down to my underwear and I will do the worm in the parking lot. And I will submit that video for your enjoyment, for everybody. I will streak through the parking lot in my underwear, and then I will do the worm in the parking lot. I don't care how many scrapes, cuts, whatever. I make that promise to you. We get Adams and Bowers. A streaking worm is coming. That's what she said.
Dude, that would be the most exciting football team we've ever had by miles.
Wild Wave. We don't even have to clip it. I'm a man of my word now. You
Getting
guys
back,
will hold me to it. We trade for Devontae. Everyone will be excited and be like, "Oh shit, we're halfway to Nick doing it."
if we, what was I going to say? Another thing I want to say, I want to put a take out there. Just because we've been talking about this for a while. Oh man, you ever have a thing with the muscle in your chest when you cough? Oh my god, or under my
I try
rib.
not to have muscles. That way you can never pull them.
No, like I don't know. There's some freaking thing when I cough, it's agonizing. Oh yeah, I wanted to put a take out there. Okay, just to
What
change
you
the
got?
focus about something
All
that
right,
we have.
I'm all ears.
'Cause this is
This
the
better be
state.
good. Wait. This better be good with this build up. Like you're like, I need
Well, this
something.
is the state of the Jets union, right? So
All right.
I want to put there's a take I'm going to put out there. I believe, and I am saying that Breece Hall will get 2,000 yards from scrimmage next season.
I am 100% with that. He played 17 games and's healthy. Yeah, he's going to be something special. You saw glimpses of it this year because we had so many line issues, but you saw that this is a player capable of being not just an offensive player of the week randomly, an offensive player of the year candidate, a guy who can carry the team, a guy that can make your team special, a guy that if there's a snow game playing in the Northeast with Buffalo, New England, where we are in New Jersey, going to Baltimore or Pittsburgh, you need a guy that you can count on in the snow. You need a guy that you can count on in bad weather. Two of his best plays this year were in horrible rainstorm against the Giants and then the New England game. So you got a guy who can do it in any type of weather, any place, anytime. And think about this, Jer. You want to talk about the state of the Jets? How about the state of Breece Hall? He might not even be 100% yet because most guys take a full year before they are.
I think
you want to talk about something to look forward to? How about Breece without a year rehabbing? How about Breece without pushing to get ready for day one and being ready for day one now? How about that?
He's at the end, those last month of the season, just physically looking at him, he looked like one of the great legendary running backs. Like his build, the confidence, the way he walked, the way he ran. It was like Adrian Peterson, Marshall Faulk, Edgarian James. Like he was.
What was that last one?
Edgarian
James.
He
I love when you do that.
He just has it. You could see it. He has the crazy legs that you're supposed to have, that Henry has. The crazy thighs that are solid muscle. It's just the way he runs, the speed, the way he accelerates. He's super, super special. I think we have the best running back in the NFL.
I mean, he's right there. Like you look at what McCaffrey does. Breece is going to be McCaffrey. He's going to be the guy. You get him the ball in the passing game. But here's what I would love to see. I would love to see our weapons get so good. We don't need to utilize Breece that much, and because the passing game is working so much, like he doesn't need to be our primary guy. He could be a fallback guy. You see that some days McCaffrey has a huge game receiving. Other day he might have 1 for 8. So if the offense is cooking elsewhere, that's great because it takes so much off of Breece where we don't have to overuse him. But you're right. The last month, you saw a guy who wasn't breathing heavy anymore after 8-yard runs. You saw a guy who was staying in for 3 downs early in the year. The pitch count was on, right? He's incredible. We got a special one, and the fact that he did not have a disaster season, which a lot of people were afraid of. What if he gets hurt again? And what if he's not healthy? And some guys never come back to their original form. Those guys can be quiet, right?
He looked as good as
in the chat. I see a couple names in here that I haven't seen before. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, subscribe to Jets Chaos channel And I dropped my link, Proud New York Jets fans. If you wouldn't mind going over there when you get a minute or when we're done and subscribing to mine as well. We do a Friday night hangout. Friday nights, 8 o'clock. We talk football. We'll talk some playoff football. And then we do a pop culture topic every week. Last week we did favorite 5 wrestlers of all time. We've done favorite fast food places, favorite sitcoms, favorite comedians. So I'm not sure. By the end of the show, I'll have an idea of what this Friday's topic will be. But you know what we'll do? Since the playoffs are coming up, we'll talk about other teams. Favorite 5 non-Jets of all time. Guys who never played for the Jets that like you've always like admired or like kind of rooted for, you know? Like my number 1 would have been Aaron Rodgers.
Does that have to be football, or could it be just any athletes that you love, like in professional sports, that didn't play for your favorite team?
Okay, that's nothing. Yeah, we can do that.
I just because my favorite player of all time is a
Don't
baseball.
tell me now.
No, is a baseball player who did not play for the Mets.
All right, I like that little tease. So yeah, check out Proud New York Jets fans. 8 o'clock Friday night. We usually go to. This past week we went 5 hours. We started at 8 and with Tigo from Talking Jets with Tigo, Adam on 2K, Johnny Jimenez popped in, Jeremy was there, Kevin Robbins was there from Jets Guru. You know, people come in and out on a Friday night, and you never know what the conversation is going to be. So check that out, guys. I appreciate that.
I will,
and I'm very close to monetization. I need like 300 watch hours, so a good show on Friday night will help.
Okay. I also want to put out there, I want to say something that's going to be very unpopular. Ooh. But it's something, and it's not something I'm hoping for. It's not something that I'm wishing in any way. It's just an honest observation. Okay.
Oh,
I am about 95% sure that Breece Hall is not going to be a Jet next year. Like, he's gone. He's gone.
I'll say this. I think the Jets will want it. But I think if he's allowed to get offers, somebody will give him a big-time offer.
Yeah, he's going to get a big-time offer.
I do.
He broke 10.
I think that they'll let him go. I don't want to see it, but yeah, I think that's a good possibility.
It's a premier position. It's a position. It's such a hard position for some teams to fill. We waited years to fill it. Yeah. You got a guy that's over 10 sacks. It's going, and he does, and they know about our rotation. They know he doesn't play as even in pass rush situations. There's a lot of times. I mean, 10% went to McDonald and JJ. You know, like where he wasn't even in there. So yeah. He's going to, you know, like he's going to get a big contract. And what's going to happen is the Jets' way of looking at it is that's why they drafted McDonald. Like they're keeping.
You knew Lawson was gone. You knew Huff could go. You knew JFM's contract, if he doesn't rework it, he could be gone. So but that's what this scheme does. It's a pipeline, and it might make people batshit crazy, but I don't think you can rule out a D lineman in round 1. I do not.
Yeah, if you're going to draft stars, if you're going to have good drafts where you draft stars, you have to understand that the salary cap does not allow you to retain them all. And what's going to happen is they're going to look and they're going to see Breece Hall is playing in a position that we are strong in. Because we're still going to have, we're still bringing back GFM. We might extend them and restructure it a little with an extension. But I think what you're going to see is you're going to see JFM still on the team, Clemens, JFM, McDonald, JJ, right? So you're going to see those 4 guys and whatever else they decide to do. And they're just going to say, like, as a team, what do we need? What's the best thing for this team to do? And they're going to decide that the defensive line will still be strong. They believe McDonald's going to have a breakout year, that he's going to take a jump. They know they have JJ already. They know they got JFM. They know they're strong in the position. This is what I'm thinking they're thinking. And they're going to say, we can't pay that $20 million a year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We need a wide receiver. We need offensive linemen. We need to rebalance the team a little bit. We need to put some weight on the other side. And that's why I think they're going to do it. I mean, that's why I think we're going to let him go. Now, I'm hoping that we lock him up with a tag or something and get a second-round pick for him.
Agreed. And unfortunately, he's made some comments that make it sound as if he's open to the market. So the Jets have to decide: do we tag him to protect ourselves, or do we try to give him an offer that might be overpaying him? And we know Joe Douglas doesn't overpay. He did it for Lazard, and it came back to bite him. So I think
Miami can't get him, Daniel. I mean, unless you guys are going to make some crazy cuts, because Miami's got serious salary. Like, I don't go over to cap and look at Miami's cap situation. Miami's in no shape right now to I think they're like $40 million over the cap. You guys are going to have some issues. Yeah,
but
they're not
Ramsey and Hill. Nowadays, the cap is just bullshit, right? Like,
well, it's not totally. You still have to. You still have to deal with it. Like,
if you're in win now mode, though, you extend Ramsey,
right?
Make a bonus. You do that with Hill's contract,
right? But that's just to get. That has to be just to get from their $40 million over. They have to get to zero. So a lot of that extending is going to be just to get to zero, so they don't have to lose players. That's all I'm saying.
I'll be right back. Let me say goodnight to Nick.
I don't know how they're going to spend $20 million on Huff. I mean, maybe they could pull it off. I mean, understand that one day New Orleans Saints are going to have a season, and they're smart to do it. I think there's a strategy to it. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. I think it's a different strategy. I think the New Orleans Saints are going to plan it that there's going to be a year where they know they suck. There's going to be a year where they're going to have $130 million of dead cap money, but they're going to direct it all to one season. So it's going to be a suicide season where they're going to take their big shot. They take it with all their players. They're going to eat the year, have a horrible year, get a nice high draft pick, and restart and have, get rid of all the dead cap space and start over again. Some people would argue that that's an okay thing to do. Like, when you get a good team, screw it. Just push it back for 5-6 years. Give yourself 5-6 years, however long you could keep pushing it back to try to win. And then eventually, when that opportunity or window closes, eat the $150 million, start over. We might end up doing that. You might see Joe Douglas just go all in and say, screw it. Just push it all back and just say, screw it. We're going to go for a Super Bowl.
That's what I was going to say before Nick called. I'm very curious to see how Joe Douglas treats this. Joe Douglas is going to be in the last year of his contract. Do they extend him? Even if it's fake money, do they extend him to give him some comfort to know you're here? We don't want you operating recklessly. You know what I mean? Like, don't go all in and fuck the team long term because you're trying to save your job. Not that I think Joe would do that, but I think that's the biggest question. Not who we get, how we go about getting them. Is it big money? Is it, which hasn't been a Joe thing? Like, I don't want Joe operating outside of Joe. I want the NFL scouting department to be better. Listen, we got a lot of questions. We're the Jets. There's not a lot of trust with decision making with players, right? I think we can all agree on that. There's been questionable moves. There's been bombs. There's been some nice hits. Quincy was a nice hit. Tony Adams is a nice hit. Michael Carter II was a nice pick later. Tittman was a good pick. Garrett, so the guys, JJ, there's a good core. But now you got to get serviceable players to complement your core, right? Like the Yankees, their core four. They had the core four, but there were so many other elite role players that made that Yankee dynasty great, that complemented. You brought in David Wells, who had kicked around a little bit. He was elite. You brought in David Cohn. You brought in Musina. You brought in Tino. Robinson Cano developed. Soriano developed. There was guys that came in on top of the core to help make a team elite. That's what we need. Can Carter Warren be a Jason Fabini and be a starting tackle for 6 years for us? You know,
Right.
Can we find a Kareem McKenzie? Can we find a Brandon Moore who can go play right guard for 10 years after being a defensive tackle switch? You got to find some of these that you're not expecting. Yes, we're all talking big names. Everyone's talking Evans, Higgins. Somebody like a Curtis Samuel, the name I keep saying, is somebody who can come in and be a nice compliment to a Garrett Wilson. He can work the middle. He's more physical than you think. He's not the biggest guy, but he's a good veteran wide receiver. He's smart. He's efficient. So there's a lot of how are we going to do it, not just who.
Right.
How are we going to make the money work? How are we going to do the contract? How many years are going to be on the deal? Are you loading up for 2 years to appease Rodgers, and then in 2026 it's a complete overhaul again? How is it going to come to fruition? That's my biggest question, is not who, how. That's my state of the offseason. How do they accomplish it? How do they address the line? How do they address wide receiver? How do they go about in free agency or the draft? So there's a lot of questions, man. There's a lot of good things here, though. It's not like it was when we tore it down. It's not as bad as Jets fans make it sound. Winning 7 games the last 2 years with the worst quarterback play in football, Jared, and the most injured offensive line is actually impressive to me. Because years that we've suffered an injury or two has been a 2-win season, a 4-win season. We got the number 1 defense in football. We got to get a couple pieces on the D-line figured out. What are we going to do with Huff? What are we going to do with JFM? JJ makes a leap. Will McDonald makes a leap. Do you keep Clemens? Does Clemens roll into that JFM role? Which I don't think he's capable of. I mean, JFM is very underrated. So
JFM is one of our best all-around offensive linemen.
Yeah. He's
I mean,
he's not mentioned enough, right?
Defensive lineman.
Yeah, I know.
Because
he's not mentioned enough by fans, right? He's like that player that like a good team needs, and he'll make a big play in a big game.
Because he does that dirty work. He's like a power forward that gets 10, 12 rebounds a game, and takes the personal fouls and frees up the shooting guard, the small forward. Like he does the grunge work. He's like sitting there and he's clogging the hole and he's sealing the edge. He's stopping running backs from running around. Like he's doing all that stuff. What's nice to know is that, on any other team, JJ is like that kind of player. JJ his rookie year was very good at sealing the edge.
Yeah.
So he's not, it's only because of the rotation and the way we like to play. That's the only reason JJ is a guy who, rotates. Otherwise, he's a perfect guy to be, a full-fledged, complete edge.
Yeah, you're right. So, the state of the Jets.
It's kind of like we will see. I mean, I think that we have the money if we make the right moves. Everything has got to be done right. You have to hit on your draft picks, but our cap situation is not amazing, but it's not horrible. Like we definitely have room in the cap and room to play, where if we could utilize free agency definitely to fill one of our holes or two, and we definitely have some draft capital that might be able to. A number 10 pick, certainly if used and spent wisely, whether traded down, whatever, it could bring immediate help to this team. And if we do it right, we could see a complete turnaround of this offense.
Yeah. One of the things Aaron Rodgers said, and we're not going to get into the outside of football stuff, but anybody not into the winning's got to get out of the building or something on those lines, right? I'm really curious what that meant. I'm very curious of who that was directed at. I'm very curious of what brought that comment out. And instead of getting questions about the late night show host, and I would have been like, all right, get further into that. What does that mean? What did you see? You don't have to give us names. Well, what did you see in your limited time here that made you say that? Is that like, what does that entail? That's something that I can't believe that McAfee didn't follow up with.
Yeah, I think without question, and I'm not saying it's the only thing he was referring to. I think without question, there's no question in my mind that Tim Boyle is the one that was telling people that Zach didn't want to play. And that Zach wasn't going to, was giving a hard time about starting games again. Like, I have no question in my mind.
You think it's a jab at Wilson? Like, you don't want to play, you don't want to win. Like, you got to go. As much as he says he loves him, do you think it's a jab at Wilson? Because Boyle's gone.
No. But I think that he was referring back as an example, saying, like, I think he was making a point, like, kind of under the, like, kind of indirectly, but very obviously, if Boyle was listening. Like, I think, to me, I think 100% that's why Boyle was cut. Like, they never intended to use Mark Rippon. They didn't care. The season was over anyway. I don't think normally.
Who?
Rippon? It's not Mark, right? Is that the son?
No. Mark is a Super Bowl winning quarterback from the Redskins in the 80s.
The father was Mark. That's the father.
No, it's not Mark Rippon's son, is it?
I thought
Brett
it was.
Rippon? No, I thought I googled
not
that.
Mark Rippon's son?
I don't think that's Mark Rippon's son.
He's looking it up. He's looking it up. I like that you're looking it up. That cracks me up. Well, the bottom line is Boyle was released because he opened up his mouth and was saying stupid shit because he was mad because he wanted more of a chance to play. But you know what? He sucked balls. He was horrendously bad. He was completely unserviceable.
It's not Mark Rippon's son, you asshole. You say it so confidently, though, it makes me second guess what I already knew because you believe your own bullshit and you're really good at it. You fuck with me with how you deliver.
I honestly thought it was. I
know you did. You made me believe it, and I knew it wasn't.
I thought that I had looked it up. Afram chimes in.
Hey, Afra, how you been?
I haven't heard from the guy in ages. That's what he tried.
Yeah, he comes in with a fact check. Thank you, Afra. Thank you for showing up.
I go. What do I say? I go Yugoslavia. I go Albanian. I fix door. What I do, you see what I do, Afram, is door. The wood was no good. The nails, too many years, 100-year-old house. It was too loose. So this is what we do. We take the metal, the bracket on the door, and we move it 6 inches up. And we carve out the wood and fit it in. And then we screw that into new part of wall, of door. You know what I mean? New level. And that work. So now I have working door. Except doorknob, no good. Shit, cheap doorknob. No good. Twisty. So
he's right. Afram's right. That's the worst Albanian accent. He's right. I didn't even know what accent you were doing, but I just know once I heard Albanian, oh, that's not Albanian.
No, worst. It's the worst. But I know how to make a good sarma.
Let's do you have any more State of the Jets you wanted to cover? Do you have any more notes that you wanted to?
Even without Huff, I'm still very confident the defense is going to be very good. I'm a full believer in Will McDonald. I'm not defending the pick. I know a lot of people are mad at when they picked him and everything like that, but I promise you, there's a reason they picked him. Like, I think they know what they got. They look very confident, and I don't think they'd be saying it if they didn't believe it. And I think I saw some flashes in him that make me believe it.
Yeah, he had a good win rate. He was right behind Huff in win rate. He just doesn't have the sample size, right? So here's what I need from McDonald.
He won me over when he jumped over the offensive line to block the field goal or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
I need Will McDonald to go up to Jermaine Johnson and say to him, give me your blueprint for last offseason. Let me shadow you this offseason. Let's work together. Let's rise together. I'll never forget the OTAs when Quinnen Williams was interviewed and he said, JJ was the star of the offseason. Wait till you see him this year. And he was right. I want that same praise for Will McDonald coming in next year. If he makes that jump, that's huge for us. Go ahead. Let me say goodnight to Sophia.
Okay. I also want to say Will McDonald would have had 8 to 10 sacks if he played any normal amount of snaps. I mean, yeah, people say, well, he only got 3 snaps. Well, he only played like 15% of the reps. Can you imagine if he would have played? I don't know. What is a real defensive lineman play? Like on any other team, when you're the edge, when you're a starting edge, aren't you playing like 70 to 75% of the snaps? 15%, let's see, 30, 45, 67. I mean, multiply 3 sacks by 15. Now let's compensate the fact that he was mostly in plays where it was passing situations. And you can honestly make an argument that he was like on pace for a 10-sack season if he had played the reps. And then you could argue he would have had more because the Jets only had a lead like in 3 of the football games. So now imagine what a guy like Will McDonald could do if he played on our Aaron Rodgers type team with an offense that once in a while, like any other football team, actually had a lead in the third quarter, a lead in the fourth quarter, where the other team had to go shotgun and pass every play. So I think 3 sacks and his win rate and his pressures is extraordinarily high when you look at how little opportunities he got to be in the game.
Yeah. He makes a good jump. That's better for everyone. Jermaine Johnson going to that 12 sack season. And not even sacks, just keep winning the pressures. Get the pressures there, and we get more guys who are going to pressure, and with a lead, we can then jump things on the back end. The turnovers will come. You saw the Philly game in a tight game where we had a pressure still down the end. Tony Adams makes the pick. He jumps the route because he knew the pressure was coming. We need to be in a situation where the other team has to throw in the fourth quarter. We can't have these games where we're down. That is the strength that we also lost 4 plays in. We lost being up 24-3 at halftime in a couple games. We lost 4 games that we lost by 1 score. The Raiders, the Patriots, the Chiefs, and one other game I'm forgetting right now. But you win those 4 games with Rodgers, because no one will ever convince me that Aaron Rodgers isn't making a 1-score difference in those games. That's 4 wins. It's an 11-win season. We're in the playoffs. We're good enough. We just have to be healthy enough. So the state of the Jets is get the fuck out of the emergency room. Get the hell out of the blue tent. Your microphone's off, jackass. Get out of the blue tent. Get off the golf cart.
I was saying we're good enough. We're smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like us.
Yeah. But they don't. You know how many people are happy about Rodgers getting hurt? Do you know how many people are happy that the Jets failed this year? All I want is this team to be healthy to show everybody who the fuck we can be. I want 8 home games with that energy of the first 4 plays of the season.
All I want
I was at the Kansas
want,
City game. Kansas City was electric.
All I want is to be able to see Rusty Spooner's comments again.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
You're right.
I don't know how to get him fix it. It's like he's like blocked from not from YouTube, from StreamYard, and I don't know how to unblock it. It's pissing me off.
You're right. Give me a second.
Oh, you know how?
Oh, no, I don't know shit about that.
I thought you were.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I don't fix nothing. I create problems. I don't fix them. Using online shuffling logic like ABT to tackle into a guard.
Suddenly rusty.
Joe, I don't know if you mean us or the chat, but I think collectively we'll all take this compliment. You guys are great, you fans. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. Joe, go make sure you subscribe to my channel, Proud New York Jets fans. You'll enjoy the conversations over there. Shut up your face, dude. My God.
You and your fucking channel. Should be monetized.
I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go.
I'm just imagining you on a street corner.
You and your fucking negativity.
What's that movie where you're sitting there and you come on, man, subscribe to my channel, man. I'll suck your dick, man. What'd you say to me? I'll suck your dick.
Is that how you got so many subs? Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I apologize for the chaotic one here being an asshole, but he can't help himself. There's two things he loves: McDonald's and assholes.
I'm an asshole that likes to eat McDonald's.
Yes, and he eats so much McDonald's it wrecks his asshole.
I'm from Canarsie. All we did was drive around and be assholes.
Oh, I got something for the chat. You guys want to hear a good story out of football? So it was last Wednesday, I believe. I called him. I was out for a walk in the neighborhood, and I was like, let me call my friend and let's discuss the show before we go on air. Do you know what this guy was doing?
Me?
You.
I don't even know.
So he answered the phone, and like I can hear an echo, and I say to him, I'm like after like a minute, I'm like, oh, you're taking a shit? He's like, yeah, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh, I could just tell with the sound in there. I guess I have the luxury of being awful timing and always calling people when they're in the bathroom, so I can hear the echo. He puts himself on mute for a little bit because I guess he was evacuating himself. And then the end comes. Do you know what he tells me? Oh, wait, this is the best part. I'm like,
then I had to put the phone down. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, hold on, I got to put the phone down. This is the best part. And I'm like, okay. Comes back like 10 seconds later. He's like, all right, I'm good. I go, would you flush? He goes, no, I had to take my shirt off. I take my shirt off when I shit.
I had to put it back on.
Now, I don't know why, but I think that's one of the strangest quirks ever.
The only time I've ever, like, I didn't know if I was the only person alive who did it until it was on Seinfeld when George Costanza.
Oh, you've been doing it for that long?
Oh, I've been taking my shirt off when I shit my whole life. I take my fucking shirt off.
Where you been? Adirondack. Thanks for popping in.
Stop by, and first thing I hear is you.
Tony Alexio, Marcus back. Packers. Oh yeah, that was a good video. I should get a free super chat for yelling asshole at a Walmart checkout during the week before Christmas in front of children.
Well,
I told you that story, right? I sent you that video.
This is your free super chat.
Yeah, there it is, Mark. There it is. It has an S next to your name, everything. It's right there.
I think we should give him a free super chat to make up for the $20 he gave to that girl because he fell for that scam outside that bar.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Mark, go ahead. Here's your free super chat, Mark. That your next question will get airtime. Do you shower after every shit too? That's a Howard Stern thing, right?
Well, I definitely try to make it work out that way. Like I definitely I time my showers after a shit all the time.
So is that what that smell is? You've been constipated for a few days?
Now that I'm a student and I don't have to go anywhere, I don't shower until I have to. Like in the morning, I'll go. Like it's 11:30. Justin's like, "Did you take a shower yet?" I was like, "No, I'm waiting till I have to shit."
I don't have a heart to. Oh, Twisted, stop it! You got the heart. Show up. That's what we do. We're Jets fans. We're lunatics. We show up.
You'll get over it, dude.
You'll be all right. We trust you. You're back here already. You're back. You'll be regular again. We was wondering where you are. As long as you're all right.
Twisted, think of it this way. No, I know he's okay. We text each other. I got his number. Twisted, let's put it this way. We had a couple of offensive linemen and get healthy there. Rodgers is coming back. We had a wide receiver. It's done, man. We're a contender again.
Yeah. We only have 8 games at home next year, not 9, so less chance for injury. Denver comes here. Vera Tucker doesn't have to go to Colorado. That's another win. There, you want positives? I'm giving you positives. Vera Tucker does not have to step into Invesco Field at Mile High or whatever the fuck it's called.
Who do we play instead?
They come here.
They come here. Okay.
We'll do that. We'll do.
Did we lose to Atlanta this year or win? I totally am blanking on that game.
We lost to them. That was the other one score game we lost. Thank you.
Ugh. We're the one team that makes Pitts look like an all-pro tight end. Every time both times he played us, he goes off.
I think he got his first career touchdown. Was that in London?
He had his breakout game against us in London. Yeah, it was his breakout game.
So
Cough won't go away, man. It sucks.
No. I love that I open up my Google and the first thing I see, Brett Rippin father. It's Tim Rippin. This fucking guy.
I think I'm dying.
24 opponent. Here we go. So the 2024 opponents, for those that don't know, is locked in. We have home, Buffalo, Miami, New England. Houston with CJ Stroud comes here again. Indy with Anthony Richardson returning come here. The Rams, the Seahawks, and Denver, because Denver finished in third place like we did in the division. So that's our AFC West game.
No more Pete Carroll in Seattle. No more Russell Wilson in Denver. I'm liking it. A much more beatable Rams team. I'm liking the schedule, man. We're always going to have to deal with Miami twice. That's a given. We're always going to have to deal with Buffalo twice.
Yeah.
New England's an easy 2 games, I think.
Now our road games. I like our road games a little better, depending on when we get them. We got the 3 division. We're at Jacksonville. We're at Tennessee. We're at Arizona. We're at my prediction for the Thursday night NFL opener at San Francisco. San Francisco comes off a Super Bowl, and they host the Thursday night game. And you have Rodgers and the Jets at San Francisco.
Oh, that would suck.
We're then at
light schedule. We have to start the fucking season going against the Niners. I hate
be
that.
The best, beat the best. You want to be the man, beat the man. Woo! AFC North, we're at Pittsburgh, and then NFC North, we're at Minnesota.
Yeah, it just does not sound like a tough schedule to me early on. Like the way it looks like
home.
Over the last 3 years, like if you go this seems like the lightest one. Come on.
Yeah.
It seems like the lightest one. There's no Philly and Kansas City and Baltimore, no Pittsburgh even.
Well, you basically look at your schedule and you're looking for an elite defense and you're looking for an elite quarterback. The quarterback gauntlet that we had with this year was Hurts, Josh Allen twice, Mahomes, supposed to be Russell Wilson with a huge year with Sean Payton. Everyone was talking about the quarterbacks that we had to play, right? Now you look at it, we got Allen, Tua, who knows it's going to be a rookie with New England. You got CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Matthew Stafford, Geno Smith as of now. They might make a change, a new coach, and go in a different direction. And then who knows if it's Russell Wilson or a rookie in Denver. So the teams coming here outside of Stroud and Allen are not elite. I mean, Stafford is, but that cross-country trip is always hard. I'd rather them come here than us go there.
And what do we do to good quarterbacks? I mean, what did we do this year?
We got the number 1 defense.
Patrick Mahomes didn't look too good to me against us. CJ Stroud didn't look too good against us.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a pretty good track record going against these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We are now away. Take a look at my face. I'm Albanian. You don't fuck with an Albanian.
Bad.
Yeah.
So you look at the away quarterbacks.
Hold on, we might have a new subscriber. Haven't had one in weeks. Shane McGarry, you look like a new name. Are you a new subscriber? If so, thanks for subscribing and welcome. Now, you're probably going to tell me, no, I subscribed 8 months ago. I just don't talk a lot. But give me a few seconds to think for a second that I got a new sub. We do play the Steelers next year. I like the way you spell Steelers. Nice and I like that. I thought we didn't play the Steelers. We do? We play the Steelers?
No, we do. We finished the AFC North and the NFC North were our division same place games. Steelers finished third and the Vikings finished third. So those are our additionals. So when you look at the quarterbacks that when we play going away, we got the 3 division. Again, you're going to have a rookie. You got Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't shown to be an elite quarterback and will have trouble and will turn the ball over. You got either Will Levis or somebody else coming into Tennessee. You got Kyler Murray in Arizona. You got Purdy. And then who knows what you have in Pittsburgh if you have Pickett. And then who knows what you have in Minnesota. You might have another rookie. So when you look at the quarterbacks, a healthy New York Jet team is going to win a lot of games next season because there's not going to be a lot of quarterbacks that you're afraid of. You're not going through a top 6, 7. You don't have Mahomes. You don't have Hurts. You don't have Burrow. You don't have Prescott. That was the other one we played early. You don't have a lot of these guys on the schedule. So
the only really terrifying game, like the only game that's like, oh shit, is the Niners. Every other game, I mean, in Buffalo is always going to be hard, but we know, I mean, you can't count division. We know we have that every year. That's built in.
Yeah.
So it's like, so who cares? But like when you think of outside of playing our own division, the only game that seems like a mountain to climb is the 49ers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Rams are easy. I'm not saying if like playing the Steelers, that's certainly not easy. None of these games are easy. The NFL is not easy. Like we have to be healthy. We have to play well. We can't sleep. We can't think it's an easy game and not come prepared. Like all of that's true. We have to come out and play like our talents. Like we have to, our offensive line has to stay healthy. Like all these things have to happen. But when you're a team that's going through the grinds of a season, I'm sorry, but like the teams that are hard to see every week is when you go on a run where you play Kansas City and Philadelphia and Baltimore, and you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And then when you combine that with that's the couple of weeks you have to play Miami and the Bills. So now you got Miami, the Bills, the Eagles, Baltimore. It becomes this impossible thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about the schedule. The schedule sounds favorable to me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not,
Like-
doesn't mean, we still have to be good to win, but I feel like if we are good and everything is healthy and I think that we have a good chance to really make some, do some damage.
Like if you look at the top 15 quarterbacks this year in terms of passing yardage, we don't have Lamar. We don't play Jalen. We don't play Derek Carr. We don't play Sam Howell. We play Stafford and Lawrence and Stroud. We don't play Mayfield. We don't play Jordan Love. We don't play Patrick Mahomes. We play Purdy. We play Allen. We don't play Prescott. We don't play Goff. And we play Tua. Only 6 of the top 15 based off of yardage this season. I know guys like Herbert got hurt. We're not playing him. Burrow got hurt. We're not playing him. So it's a very, very good oppositional quarterback schedule. And that's usually what you fear, right? You're going up against an elite quarterback. You go up against an elite team. So it'll be interesting. But
that's
I gotta run.
That's beside the point that we're the goddamn Jets. Like you have to just look at it as if you're.
What makes it fun?
I know you got to look at it as if you're anyone, right? We're just a team looking at our schedule. In the NFL, the schedule I'm looking at, it could be a lot worse. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
you have to go. We have to go. It's the time.
I gotta help Sophia with something.
Tell people about your show.
Yeah, proud New York Jets fans. Check it out Friday night, 8 to 10, maybe 8 to 11. Hey, mess. Hey, everyone in the chat coming in late. We will have. You know what? We'll do favorite athletes outside of football, and then we'll get into for divisional rounds. We'll get into more football next week. We'll do a different sport this week, something we haven't discussed yet. So your top 5 favorite athletes outside of football.
Okay, everybody, listen up. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, Green Bean is going to be joining me and my brothers on Brooklyn Boys Food Review. You have to
Brooklyn
subscribe.
Brothers, not Brooklyn Boys, Brooklyn Brothers.
Brooklyn Brothers, sorry. Brooklyn Brothers Food Review. If you haven't subscribed,
I'll talk to you.
Okay, make sure you subscribe now to Brooklyn Brothers Food Review. Green Bean Jets fan, the ugly guy with the beard, at 7 p.m. is going to be on, and he's going to eat the Last Dab, the Apollo, one of the hottest, over 2 million Scoville units, one of the hottest sauces. He is going to join me and my brothers. We're all going to eat that crazy hot sauce. It's going to be absolutely nuts. It's at Brooklyn Brothers Food Review. Let me type it in. Make sure you
I thought I was
subscribe.
the ugly guy with the beard.
Well, not compared to Green Bean.
Okay.
Brooklyn Brothers Food Review. Am I spelling it right, Modine? Okay, you do not want to miss this. Some guy says I'm Joey Chestnut. Brooklyn Brothers Food Review on YouTube. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Watch us eat the Apollo hot sauce, the Apollo Last Dab hot sauce. Watch us suffer. It's going to happen before the Thursday thick of it. It's going to be on Brooklyn Brothers Food Review. I can't say it enough. Make sure you subscribe. And other than that, I got nothing to say except stay loud, stay proud, or whatever it is that Nick says. Like, be Jet fans. He says something like that. So do that. Be Jet fans. And,
Be loud, be proud, New York Jets fans.
There you go. State of the Union. The State of the Union is very good. JETS. Jets, Jets, Jets.
And now, welcome to Pride and Chaos.
Welcome to the darkest year of our adventures. Oh, yeah!
And now, give it up for Jeremy and Nick.
Now you scared me.
And as usual, Nick is wrong.
Why are you the way